So good evening, everybody. Welcome again to, well, this will actually be the first video. The last video we had some major stuttering issues, and took a few days to actually figure out why it was doing what it was doing. But in the end, I just had to reinstall OBS, completely uninstall it, completely reinstall it, clean. No more. I dumped the user preferences and everything to start it all over again. And the only thing I could think of was that, because it worked perfectly before, I was on like a 1080, RTX 1080, and from NVIDIA, and it worked perfectly fine. Like I stream and I record DCS. And that was pretty heavy on the computer resources, and it was perfect. Then I upgraded to a 3070 RTX, and it was junk. So I have no idea. Maybe if you upgrade your software or your hardware, you need to reinstall OBS. But I don't know. I just did a quick test flight out of Lake Tahoe, and it was working perfectly fine. So essentially, this is gonna be the first real video. Essentially, we're going to do, I can use the word essentially, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to have several different series from Microsoft Flight Simulator, and one for DCS. So there's going to be at least two for MSFS, and one for DCS, and whatever else I may have going on. Just fun Tom Clancy, wildland stuff, and maybe some sim racing too. But at any rate, for the most part, this is going to be my primary stuff on the channel. Just it took me years to download the newest flight simulator from Microsoft. I grew up on FS9. FSX, flew for virtual airlines. I fly in the real world. I'm actually an air traffic controller in the real world too. And I just had steered away from this. I really don't remember completely why, aside from I really didn't have like the hardware anymore. Like my hardware that I had was like really, really old stuff. And my sim rig was mostly for sim racing. I never had anything really set up for flying. So I finally got all that taken care of. Actually made a completely separate sim rig, and this is gonna be my flight sim rig, which is grossly simplistic, but it works because I upgraded to the Thrustmaster Boeing. I think it's a 787 yoke, and it's spectacular. But the one series that we're going to have, like I said, I'm an air traffic controller. I work at Sawyer International Airport out of Marquette, Michigan. And I actually went to school first for professional piloting at a small community college, CCBC, Community College in Beaver County, out of Pennsylvania, just north of Pittsburgh. And essentially ran out of money to finish my flight training, and ended up in the Air Force as an air traffic controller. So I did that for 9 years, and I got out in 2007, and I was too old to join the FAA because at that time they had a real low minimum age requirement or maximum age requirement, and I was like 34, and I think the age was 32. They wouldn't hire you after that. They changed it, but it doesn't help me much. So I'm contract tower controller for 15 years, going on 16, and just finally got back into flight sim. I owned a plane. I owned a Cherokee 180, 1965 Cherokee 180. Got IFR certified in that, and just really got away from flight sim for a long time because I was heavy into it. Because my last 2 years in the military, I went to Aviano, Italy. And obviously I couldn't fly over there. Not without jumping through way too many hoops. So I just used the flight simulator for the whole 2 years that I was there. And got home. Like I said, got the airplane, sold the airplane in 2008. Or was it 2009 maybe? But and just never got back into flight sim until now. So one of the series that I'm going to do is going to be called Tales Out of Sawyer, and that's going to be some of the more interesting. I want to recreate some of the more interesting flights that I see coming in and out of the airport. Just recreate them in flight simulator. I thought that was a pretty good idea. And the other one is called Aurora Airways, which is simply just a small, tiny regional commuter/charter airline, and that's going to focus on different, interesting or exotic regions of the world, and we're going to stay there for however many flights and just fly around and see what we could see. And where we're at now, and I can't do it tonight because I've got a lot of time because it's pretty late. But the first flight was out of St. Martin's, not out of St. John's. So we're at St. John's, and we're looking to go someplace else. And I've tried to do this flight several times, but like I said, I was having problems with the recording. It was just crazy, and I couldn't figure out why. And finally did. So we'll start here. And this was the flight. So it's a fairly short flight. It's only 60 nautical miles. We're going to go VFR direct, because somehow, anytime that I do low altitude airways, it just takes me all over frickin' creation. And I don't know why it does it. So you can look at the nav log. I mean, it doesn't really take you to any weird places. But for some real weird reason in the flight, it takes you all over the place, which is really so odd. I didn't know why. So let's take a look at the time. So we're going to do, the AI traffic is off, but I do have something running in the background that should inject real world flights into the sim. And we're going to do custom here, we're going to do live weather over here, but we just want to fly in the daytime. So you can turn that off, and let's go fly. But I've just been having such a blast with this. Just gotta get recentered in the aircraft. There we go. Alright, so one thing I did forget was the weight and balance. I like to fly heavy. Do ATC. Put y'all down there. Put you over here. The pre-flight inspection is nothing more than turn on fuel selectors. Okay. Engine ignition selectors to normal. Where's ignition? There. Power lever and idle. Battery on. Beacon on. Let everybody know that we're going to be starting the engines. You. Avionics switch. Fuel boost. just need it all to do its alignment. Nope. Alright, so ITT, internal turbine temperature, seems to be rolled out. So the RPM seems to be good. Fuel ignition too low. It's right there. Turn the starter off now. Come on. Turn it off. There we go. There's the GPS on it. Let's turn on the park brake. We'll turn on the rest of the stuff whenever we get it more. Let's listen to the ATIS.
VC Bird Airport information, Mike 2000 Zulu. Wind 085 at Niner. Visibility 6. Sky condition 2,600 feet, scattered few clouds at 4,900 feet. Temperature 24. Dew point 10. Altimeter 30.00. Visual runway 07 in use. Landing and departing runway 07. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have Mike. VC Bird Airport
VC Bird Ground Aurora 7-1 ready to taxi departure to the south with Mike.
Aurora 7-1 taxi to and hold short of runway 07 using taxiway. Contact tower on 119.1 when ready.
That always makes me mad. Man, I'll probably say it so many times. These small
Taxiing hold short runway 07 via taxiway Aurora 7-1.
Like taxi via the taxiway. On a particular taxiway, we only got one. Saying a lot as well. The flight dynamics for these aircraft are off. One of the things whenever I started flight simming over in Italy was notice just how off the flight dynamics were. Like in this instance, I'm not sure if it is the friction between the tires and the surface. It's too high, but it takes so much power to just get rolling, even full. Like the aircraft is full, or max takeoff weight, it's just like not full power taxi, which is, you know, maybe not full power, but you're flying with 70 or 80% throttle, but just how quick you stop and just how narrow the throttle control is between just accelerating and completely decelerating. So there's prop tables and things like that in the FTE, and I learned how to do all that whenever I was over in Italy, because like I said, the things they just didn't fly right. So I just learned all about the FTEs and how things got programmed and everything like that, and just started reworking all the flight dynamics for all the different aircraft.
VC Bird Tower Aurora 7-1 ready for departure to the south at runway 07.
For the virtual airline called Assignment Airways.
Aurora 7-1 altimeter 30.00 wind 085 at Niner. Departure to the south approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 07.
Flight dynamics, we got stuff for this really, really great.
Cleared for takeoff runway 07 Aurora 7-1.
What's that? Nav lights, strobe lights, takeoff flaps.
departure.
VC Bird Tower Aurora 7-1 continue for south departure. Tower Aurora 7-1 frequency change.
DCS. That's very, very good. DCS. I could actually run DCS. Let's try and run it back. Flaps up. I always forget the flaps. Rusty. Then let's now lock. And then the airplane will do the fun stuff for us. It's a little aggressive. Getting back on course, but that's alright. So whenever I started this whole concept of the small quote-unquote regional airline flying, was the Caribbean is one of the first places that I wanted to go. Because it is just so beautiful down here. They have so many small airfields you can fly in and out of that, you know, theoretically tourists would like to get to. So that's where I started. You would think Hawaii would be the most obvious, but I didn't choose Hawaii just because it is the most obvious. So it's just
VC Bird approach Aurora 7-1 is type Cessna Caravan 7 miles south of VC Bird 4,800 feet. Request flight following.
Aurora 7-1 VC Bird approach. Squawk 2537.
one thing I like something.
Squawk 2537 Aurora 7-1.
Dials in frequencies.
Aurora 7-1 radar contact 8 miles south of VC Bird 5,300 feet. Altimeter 30.00.
Roger Aurora 7-1.
Let's click on that. Just the conditioning level. That'll set up to idle. Give us more power. So we're probably going to be on top of these clouds, or may just be skimming the top of them. And obviously we're VFR. Normally you'd be adhering to VFR cloud distance. There may clear clouds. But this is just a sim, so I don't feel like going over them or around them. Just going to go through them. Setting. And it may not be setting by the time we get there. It's only a very short flight. It's only 45 miles away, 22 minutes. But the sun low on the horizon, I noticed this whenever I first started flying in the sim. There's the detail, the small, tiny little details that they put in to walk on the aircraft. Like, I'm looking at here, the scratches and stuff on the windscreen. I like that. I like that little detail modeled into the aircraft because it's real. It's how the real airplanes look. No windscreen. Looks as pristine as it does the day that rolls off of the assembly line. First flight's going to start getting screwed up. So we see that the airplane view model is pretty cool. So we do have a bit of a tailwind, decent tailwind, almost like 25 knots. 6 miles. Yeah, about 25, 26 knots. So here we are, leveling off 8,000. Technically, it should probably be 8,500. See these up. Do it. So 8,500, just because I know some people can get it. But you look around these clouds, especially when the sunsets kick in and all the different colors of them start resonating off the clouds. It's beautiful. Too. It's pretty accurate. See the sunsets affect all the hues, all the colors and things. One of the things about the flight. First textbooks in school that we had, private pilot courses, the chapters was dealing with weather, was the time, clouds, signposts in the sky. It was true. You see these cumulus clouds over here. No,
Aurora 71, contact Piarco Center on 123.7.
ride's gonna be bumpy.
Good day.
123.7 for Aurora
Some
71.
stratus clouds and things like that. So anytime you see any vertical building of clouds, you know there's updrafts and downdrafts. It's really unstable. So you have a bumpy ride. So obviously the bumpiest ride is right through the middle. Well, maybe not through the bumpiest. It is bumpy up through, but it's usually the bumpiest right underneath the clouds. And then when you get up on top of the clouds, there's usually a lot less of a set up here. Standing on the outside. I chose a different line. So the funny thing is, you see the registration. That was actually the registration of the Cherokee. Great airplane. 1965, 180. Engine had just been redone. It ran like a top. The interior was decent. Had relatively new paint job. The only thing that was really bad about it was the instrumentation was just, I don't think anybody really touched it. The radios sucked. They were pretty inexpensive. I know my number 2 radio was just, we know it was bought to be back on radio. But I spent, a month or 2 in our FBO's maintenance hangar working with the AMP. So I completely stripped down and redo my instrument on the airplane. The only did work for modifications and things like that. Added panel lights. Really had a good product in the end. And like I said, I sold that in 2008, 2009. And the really, really cool thing was just last year. This past year. I'm sitting working ground control. And I hear Sawyer Tower, N65 Whiskey with you, in position, report and things like that. It didn't register at first. You know, the low controller was talking to me a little more. Like, wait a second. That's why we're out there. Like I said, I'm marked in Michigan, I'm the Upper Peninsula, beautiful. Been here. Then I sold the plane to a couple out of Grand Rapids. And they must have sold it to somebody else. But he redid the interior, so he put some more money into the airplane. So it was really, really cool. Like I think I was gonna get emotional for talking to this airplane, and I started to. It was really weird. And I told the guy, like, hey, just so you know, that's my old airplane, and so I'm glad it's still being flown. So while he was taxiing in the parking lot, he was telling me it's still being flown. I wish I'd have been off work. I went down and said hi, take a look at the old girl, but it was great. Awesome. Back inside, make sure we're not doing anything silly. Nope, we're still chugging along. 30 knots. 30 something on the tail. Looks like a little quartering tailwind too. Out of the north-northeast. Because we're crabbing just a little bit. But alright. We got about 5-6 miles to go before I have to do anything. So funny story about the airplane. I bought the airplane out of Hershey, Pennsylvania. And I rented a car, drove all the way down there. Stopped off in Pittsburgh, where I'm from. Stayed overnight with my parents. And drove the rest of the way to Hershey. Next day. See the airplane. Take it for a test flight. I'm in the right seat. I'm not in the left seat. And I'm busy looking at engine instruments, making sure everything was good. Didn't really take too close of attention to the instrument panel. But liked the airplane, flew well, bought it, flew it back to Mansfield, Ohio. using nothing but Apollo 2 GPS from like 1993. It was monochrome and everything. Like, I don't know how I did it, how I navigated with that thing, but I did. Got to Mansfield, refueled, and my next leg was going to be up to Pellston, which is in the upper part of the lower peninsula of Michigan, so the Mitten was in the upper part of it. And I get just north of Gaylord, which is kind of the middle of the lower peninsula, and it's nighttime at that point, and I see the outline of the clouds just above the horizon. And I'm like, I wonder if those clouds are above me or below me. I was at 6,500 feet, VFR. And as soon as I said that, the cloud passed underneath the wing. I remember staring at it as it went past the left side of the airplane and under the wing. And when I looked back up again, I hit the clouds, and I was IMC. I was not an instrument-rated pilot at that point. I had not flown in over 2 years, with the exception of my annual flight review with a friend of mine who was an instructor, and he flew for American Eagle.
Raise it, approach Aurora, 718,500 feet.
We did like 2 days.
Aurora 71, raise it, approach altimeter, 29.9, 7 continue as planned.
My annual flight review. And we did a lot. I can't find it all at the same time. There we go. And we did a lot of unusual attitudes. If you're not familiar with unusual attitudes, that's whenever the instructor takes you, puts you under the hood, and just, you can't see anything, and you're just flying all over. And he just turns the airplane inside out. And he goes, okay, now look, where are you? And then you have to recover the airplane. And we did a lot of that. One thing I like about flightsim is...
Raise it, tower Aurora 71 is 11 miles north, 7,000 feet with uniform to land.
Aurora 71, raise it, tower. Altimeter 29.9, wind kilometer left, base runway 12.
So we did a lot of this. You know, I tell them all the time, even whenever I still see them, I said, dude, you saved my life. So I'm in this IMC, solid, and the DG, the directional gyro, the nice stable compass that you have, was broken. And I didn't realize that until I took off from Hershey. And I'm flying using nothing but the whiskey compass, which is that. And trust me, it is not that stable in a real airplane. And I entered the spiral of death. I tried to turn around, ended up the spiral of death, and I was at 6,500 feet.
Aurora 71, did you hear my last transmission?
Make left base runway 12 Aurora 71.
Spiral of death. I'm 6,500 feet. Ground level was probably 1,000 MSO. I look down, and the damn VSI, vertical situation indicator, is pegged at minus down 6,000 feet a minute. So I was doing greater than 7,000 feet a minute, only 5,000 feet above the ground. I have less than that.
Aurora 71, wind calm, cleared to land runway 12.
Cleared to land runway 12 Aurora 71.
I had to physically tell myself to stop and get myself squared away and stop panicking and just focus on the attitude indicator and get myself wings level and get myself squared away. And then I very slowly made turns until I headed started heading south because I knew the VMC was back there. And got myself all squared away. Was talking to center because I always use flight following, told them what happened, and they tried to get me into to Traverse City. I hit another wall of clouds. IMC again. Told me to give me another vector. Ended up at Houghton Lake. And stayed there overnight. Slept in the FBO. That's my I almost died because I was stupid story. Going up here pretty damn fast. Slow up here as soon as you dump the flaps. But it'll be short while before we actually get down to Cherokee, the low-wing airplane. You remember I was in flight school, doing private. I started off with 152 and ended up with Cherokee 150. Just for cross country.
Aurora 71 contact ground on 118.4.
118.4 Aurora 71. Raise it ground Aurora 71 request taxi to parking.
Aurora 71 taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway parking run.
The airplane just falls out of the sky. And I like that. I found landing near below the airplane to be much more stable and predictable. I like it.
Aurora 71 acknowledged last transmission.
Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway Foxtrot Aurora 71.
And Arsenal taxi brisk walk pace. checklist doesn't have any after landing checklists. But let's turn off. It always does that. I don't know why. Turn off all the lights. Everything else is off. Turn off the fuel. Turn off the battery. And that's all she wrote. And here we are. Neat little airport on a neat little hourglass shaped island.